All right, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm not really about to sit here and break down this game, and that's for multiple reasons. One, it's the second time we're playing the Orlando Magic this preseason. Of course, we kicked things off playing them in Puerto Rico, and we also know that we play them first game of the regular season in just 10 days now. Wow, that's coming up quick, and I am very excited about that. Another reason I'm not going to really sit down and break this game is because pretty much none of the starters played tonight. You had no Bam, you had no Wiggins. I know the Magic had everyone sitting out. Obviously, it makes sense, right? But the main reason I'm not going to really sit here and break down this game, or I didn't take any notes for it, is because I really only saw bits and pieces of the game, truthfully, which is a very weird way for me to start this video with the goal of keeping you guys to watch the rest of the video, because I care a lot about my retention time and likes and comments. And make sure y'all do all that good stuff, because it helps the algorithm a lot, and drop a subscription while you're here. But yeah, subscribe, even though I only watched bits and pieces of the game, and I'm about to talk about the game. The reason I only watched bits and pieces, though, is because the game started at 6 o'clock, and I went to go hoop because the weather was beautiful outside. And if y'all live in South Florida, y'all know the weather has been really hit or miss lately. So I hoop outside still. I'm not bougie. I used to be bougie and play inside when I was in college. Now I just play at the local park. We get good runs over there. Shout out to my guys over at Three Oaks. But the weather was good tonight, so I had to take advantage of it. So I went to go hoop at 6, and then when I got home, pretty much at halftime, I started watching the third quarter, and then it was already a blowout. So then I just went back to the first half because I had it on DVR, and I watched some of the first half, and then I went back to the end of the game to check out the young guys, and I got a good idea of what happened in the game. But I needed to go hoop, not only because the weather was nice, but because I ate like a half a large pizza during the Dolphins game, because they are so ass that the only way they can be enjoyable is if I get some nice food and just binge eat through the games. So I had to do that. Speaking of the Miami Dolphins, right now on FanDuel, the sponsor of today's video, you can get the Dolphins under 3.5 wins for the whole year at plus 310. I'm going to throw some money on that, because if y'all watch the Dolphins game today, tell me how the hell you think they're going to win another 3 games this year. How the hell is that going to happen? I know they play the Browns next, who Dylan Gabriel's been. He was okay last game. I think today he was. I didn't actually see what he did today. But I did see the Browns are favored. The Browns, the Cleveland Browns, they're favored to beat the Miami Dolphins. This is where we stand now as Dolphin fans. And my God, can we talk a little bit about Tua? Because if y'all missed my post-game reaction from earlier, I did a post-game for the Dolphins. I did that before Tua's comments. And my God, it's just some ignorant comments by Tua. You know, in my earlier video, I did mention, what Tua said earlier in the week, where he said, hey, win or lose, I still get to go home with my family, whatever. And I don't have a problem with that, because he's a great dad and husband, and I admire that. My problem is that he came into this training camp and preseason saying, show me the money and all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, don't say that and then not care about football. If you value your family over football, which I guess everyone should, but if you really don't care about wins or losses, that's fine. Go retire. You probably should have retired a long time ago. Go retire. Don't sit there and take a max contract from the Dolphins, then say, show me the money, and then say you don't care if you win or lose because your kids are happy to see you every night. That's all, But what he said after the game today, that's what really got me upset. And it's not just me, because I saw dozens of former players online who obviously know more than me because they played the game. They felt the same way I did, which is after the game, Tua basically said that the leaders need to do a better job on this team of holding everyone accountable, because you got guys showing up late to meetings and this and that and the other, right? And last I checked, Tua Tagovailoa was a leader on this team. He was the leader, the quarterback, the max player, the captain for like the 5th straight year now. You're the leader. So when you're saying the leaders got to hold people accountable, don't you got to take some responsibility in that? Don't you got to do that? I mean, you threw 3 picks today. Now I understand the first one was Jalen Waddle's fault. The last one was within 5 seconds of the game. Fine. But doesn't he still lead the league in picks, or isn't he up there? I know he has quite a few this year. I know he almost always has one at the end of the game when the game's on the line. Don't you got to take some accountability for that, Tua? So for you to go after the game and say the leaders got to hold people accountable is true. It is true. But that's also you. Say, I got to hold people accountable, not the leaders. Now, it's not just Tua, of course. He is part of it, though. But Mike McDaniel, obviously Chris Greer should be fired. It's just ridiculous that you have players openly, publicly talking about the leadership on this team, but yet everyone still has a job. Make that make sense. Anyways, clearly not a lot to talk about the Heat tonight. I mean, the only really thing I guess is Khalil Wear. Let me not say the only thing. We'll go through the starting lineup real quick because we said you had no Bam, no Wiggins. Nikola Jovic was unfortunately out. He was dealing with some soreness, but I think he'll be okay. But you did get Davion Mitchell. That's who returned to the lineup tonight. Only played 2 minutes. I'm not going to necessarily judge his performance, but it was nice to get him back. I think the big question with him that will get answered in 10 days is he going to start? I think he's going to start with Tyler Hero out. If Tyler Hero was playing, it was the question. Davion and Norman Powell next to Hero. Now it will probably definitely be Davion, but I low-key am starting to lean towards Drew Smith. I was already starting to think it, and then I heard 5 Reasons mention it, that it was Ethan, I think, that said he thinks Drew Smith is going to start. And I could see it, man. I don't know. We just know Spo's obsession with Drew Smith, and it would not shock me if Drew Smith is in this starting lineup. And is it bad if I say I don't hate it? Is it bad? I love Drew Smith. Now, Davion Mitchell is kind of a better version of Drew Smith. So I guess in that case, it doesn't make a lot of sense to not start Davion in that case. But either way, start both of them. Can you imagine? You're the opposing team and ball gets checked, or you do jump ball, whatever, and you immediately off a rip got to go off 2 dudes who are picking you up 94 feet off the jump, off the tip ball. You already being guarded 94 feet, and then guess what? If you get past those 2 dudes, you got Bam and Abayo and Khalil Wear waiting behind you. Why not? Let's do it, Spo. Who cares? Y'all scoring, 80 points a night anyways. You're not out rebounding anyone anyways. Might as well lean into all defense. Give me Davion, give me Drew, give me Wiggins, give me Bam, give me Ware. Ware, of course, is really the main story today, who's really having a great preseason, monster performance last game versus Wembanyama, and today followed that up with a 24 points, 10 rebounds, all of that in about 24 minutes. Does lead the league in rebounds in the preseason, which is critical because, of course, we know that he sort of had to win Spoelstra back over to his good graces. At this point, we don't know who's going to start. We were all thinking maybe he's leaning Jovic. Jovic is having an okay preseason, and we said the only way Ware could get that starting spot back is if he makes it undeniable that he needs to be a starter. Leading the league in preseason, in rebounds is a good way to make it undeniable that you're a starter. Because, yeah, Ware did a lot today, hit some nice threes, hit some funky shots, got some nice bounces and stuff. But, at the end of the day, Spoelstra doesn't care about that. Ware, he forced a couple tough ones today, still shot about 52%. But I think Spo would much prefer that Ware eliminates some of the funky stuff, some of the jump shooting stuff, and be a guy who just shoots 60+%, taking better shots at the rim, which I don't know. To me, let Ware out the cage a little bit. Let him go out there and do all this stuff. But we know Spo kind of likes to take things slow, and he'll let Ware get to that point one day. But anyways, I like all the stuff Ware's doing. But the thing that Spo wants to see is the little things, most importantly, rebounding. Rightfully so, because that 7 feet tall athletic beast, you got to rebound night after night. Because there might be some nights Khalil Wear gets 4 threes. There might be some nights he only gets 2 shots, But what he should do every single night is rebound. And I think Khalil Wear has double-digit rebounds in every single game. And, of course, as we said, he leads the preseason and he leads the league for rebounds in the preseason. That's what you got to do if you want to get your starting spot. So, overall, I've just been very thrilled with Ware's efforts and everything. His touch is so incredible. I had a couple of left-hand jump hooks tonight. He is so damn skilled. I can't stress that enough. I highly recommend y'all watch my video, my last Heat video, which was the one previous to my Dolphins pregame video. So 2 videos ago, I did a 20-minute breakdown, film analysis of the Heat's loss to the Spurs, but basically broke down how the young guys will really contribute to a new and improved offense. There was a lot of footage of Kasparis to Ware, and I think we're going to continue to see a lot of that this year. Saw a little bit of it today. Kasparis only played a few minutes before he ended up getting hurt. Sprained something, I think. I don't think it was a big deal. I forget what it was, but he only played 4 minutes, 2 points, 1 assist. But that 1 assist was a lob to Ware. Beautiful lob out of the pick and roll, just an absolute dime. So we're starting to see more of what we saw in the Spurs game, so which is good. You want to string together these performances where you see these guys have that chemistry. it's just unfortunate Kasparis got hurt. I hope it's not too serious. I guess let me refresh Twitter real quick, see if I see anything about Kasparis. I do not. Of course, the Heat fell to 0-4. In my video this morning, I did tell y'all, I think the Heat were like plus 210 on FanDuel to win tonight. And I said, hey, you know, the Heat are due to win if y'all want to put some money on it. Well, they were not due to win. Not tonight, at least. But I did also say if y'all betting on preseason, it might be time to call the number. I'm not betting on no preseason, and I don't know if I should say neither should you, because then I'm like actively saying don't go on FanDuel. Go on FanDuel, but there's thousands of other bets. You can literally bet everything on FanDuel. That's what's so great about it. But maybe bet some real games. Don't bet FanDuel. Stuff is too tricky. You don't know what kind of stuff's going to happen tonight. Anyways, what else do we got tonight? Jaquez, 9 points. What else? Pelle Larson hit 2 threes today. You know, he's going to be aggressive, driving, and do all those things. We want to see him keep building the jumper. 2 of 4 from 3 today. I was happy to see that. And then I guess as far as all the young guys, all the Exhibit 10 guys, Jameer Young did have 18 points tonight, 6 of 11. We never actually noticed how a couple days ago, or we never actually mentioned how a couple days ago the Heat did cut Trevor Keels, who was my guy. Like, that was my pick of the Exhibit 10s to stand out. They did cut him in order to bring back Gabe Madsen, who they originally cut to sign Precious Achiuwa. Mostly that's just to like feed these guys into the Sioux Falls system. I guess if they each had an Exhibit 10 contract, now you have their rights to Sioux Falls, something like that. So first it was Trevor Keels, now it's Gabe Madsen, but they'll both end up on Sioux Falls. So I don't think that was such a big deal. But I don't know. I was kind of hoping Trevor Keels will pop a little bit more. Maybe he will in the G League. Either way, I don't think any of these guys was legitimately going to get a two-way spot. The final two-way spot that's the Heat have open, I don't think any of them was going to get it right away. Maybe down the line. We'll see what happens. But none of these two-way guys has really popped. Vlad Golden is still pretty slow. Dane Danger's my guy, but he's obviously very slow as well. I'm not sure he's an NBA player. And then Ethan Thompson hasn't really quite popped offensively as we thought. Myron Gardner's shown some things, but he can't stop fouling people. Had 4 fouls tonight. But yeah, I'll be more so tuned into those guys in the G League and kind of see what they can do, because last year with Sioux Falls, we really saw guys stand out. We saw Isaiah Stevens stand out, who I think ended up getting picked up by Sacramento. I think he's on a 2-way with the Kings. We, of course, saw, what's his name? The shooter, Josh Christopher, stand out. I'm not sure where Josh Christopher's at now. That's so weird. Like, he had such a great summer league that he got the 2-way spot. It was good in the G League, and then he kind of disappeared. I don't know. It says he was last on a 2-way contract and played for Sioux Falls. So I don't know where Josh Christopher is at. But of course, also Alanis Williams popped last year, and a lot of guys in the G League. Kashad Johnson, great G League, rough preseason so far. He'll probably spend a lot of time in Sioux Falls as well. Even though he's on a standard contract, he really messed that one up. He should not be on a standard. He should probably be on one of those 2-way spots. But anyways, none of the young guys really popped. You know, Gabe Madsen tonight, 1 of 4 from 3. So he didn't make the most of his opportunity. What's Cole Swider at? What's he doing nowadays? I don't know. Probably taking care of his grandkids. He's like 60 years old. Anyways, I don't know. Can you tell I'm filibustering a little bit just to see if there's anything else to talk about? No. My whole timeline, I'm refreshing Twitter now. My whole timeline is just people talking trash about Tua. I don't know. It's a shame. I like Tua. He's a nice guy, man. But come on. Tack it up. Yeah. I had someone comment on that video and say, why am I even wasting my time with the Dolphins? You got Heat, you got the Florida Panthers, which I need to start giving them love, man. 3-0. You come into the season, you got Barkov out for the year. You got Kachuk banged up from the beginning. Even I think a couple other guys got hurt early on in that first or second game, and they're still 3-0. Every time one Panther goes down, another guy stands out. You know, they just re-signed Gatchevich today. Love him, bro. They're a fun ass watch. Not to mention the Miami Hurricanes, man. Coming up on Friday, Louisville, baby. Let's keep it rolling. Anyways, I'm not going to filibuster anymore here. I will tell y'all once again, I actually am going to the first game in Orlando in 10 days. So if anyone's over there and wants to say, what's up, come find me. We're in section 100 something. But that game is also on FanDuel right now. The Heat are plus 285. That is a line I'm definitely going to play because I like to throw a little action on the games when I'm there. And I think at plus 285, you could get a nice return by just throwing down a couple of bucks. So I'm definitely going to partake in that. Anyways, that's all I got to say for this video. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I'm on the grind to hit 9,000 subs. I guess I'll say 9,000. We're about 1.7K away from 10. Maybe we could hit it by the end of the season. Can't do it without y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, everyone.
Look, pull up in your city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.